Hello guys, today's topic is hypothalamus. What do you mean when we say hypothalamus? Hypothalamus is not a separate entity that you can see like the thalamus. Okay, hypothalamus is generally an area below the thalamus that has got a lot of nuclei, lots and lots of nuclei, medial, lateral, a lot of nuclei. Okay, and this group of nuclei below the thalamus is called hypothalamus. And hypothalamus is technically an area, it's not a separate thing. Okay, keep that in mind. And now we have to know which area that is. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. Okay, this is the area of the, okay, what happened there? Okay, this is the area of the hypothalamus. This I have marked here. Okay, I am removing it, and once more I am trying to mark here. Okay, so the point is this area is the hypothalamus. Okay, and this is the thalamus. This is the thalamus. This is the hypothalamus. This is like the corpus callosum. Okay, so this medial picture is very useful in understanding the borders of the hypothalamus. Okay, so that is about it. So it's this area. Okay, remember this. There is an interesting thing here. What is this? See, there is a, I didn't make this up, it's there. Okay, it is like here, it comes like this, and there is a projection here. Okay, this is called the mammillary body. Okay, these are the things we can recognize from plain anatomy. Okay, like this is the thalamus. So this is where the hypothalamic nuclei reside. Okay, so the anterior nuclei will be somewhere here, and there are, you can divide the hypothalamus anatomically into different ways. We can talk about this. So anterior group is there, middle group, and posteriorly it is ended by the mammillary body. Okay, this is the posterior most part kind of thing. Okay, the mammillary area, and after this is the midbrain. Okay, this is the midbrain, I guess pons medulla. Okay, this part is the midbrain. Okay, so that's how the connection is. So embryologically you can see that midbrain is connected to the hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus is connected to the thalamus. Thalamus goes to the epithalamus, and then there is a the telencephalon that starts growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets bigger and makes a whole cortex like this, and that's how the embryology goes about it. Okay, so that is how the embryology is also. Okay, so the midbrain, midbrain, hypothalamus, thalamus, epithalamus, and the cortex. Now why that happens, why did I tell that? Because this seems to be pretty interesting, as in the sense that you should think like that. Okay, so that is the embryology of the brain. A small embryology thing. Okay, I'm not talking about the origins and the diencephalon things and things like that. You have to go read the embryology part. Okay, so this is the borders of the hypothalamus. Now I guess we can have a easier description by actually drawing it. Like, okay, brainstem, medulla oblongata, pons. Okay, pons, and midbrain has got two colliculus, superior colliculus, inferior colliculus. Okay, and then there comes your mammillary body. Okay, mammillary body, everything is two. Okay, this is just one part the section. Okay, and this is all bilateral. Okay, so there is a mammillary body, and mammillary body goes like that. Okay, and then there comes the tuber cinereum. Tuber cinereum is where the pituitary is attached. Okay, tuber cinereum, and this area just in front of the tuber cinereum there is the optic chiasma. Okay, oh, this is the pituitary. Okay, this is the pituitary, tuber cinereum, optic chiasma is here, somewhere here. Okay, it's coming from the eyes here, it is coming and depositing here. So the optic chiasma is here. Okay, and this much, okay, is there, and this part is called the this part is called the, from this to this is called the hypothalamus, and from the hypothalamus there is the thalamus here. Okay, and then there is the epithalamus that becomes the habenula. Okay, habenula, thalamus. Okay, and then there is like a cortex, small cortex, and then this grows on top of all this, and okay, let's go there, and forms a huge cortex like this, and then there is a cerebellum. Okay, and that's why there is a hole here. You can see that there is a hole here in the anatomy. You learned that there is a hole here, and then okay, anyways, and this edge becomes like the corpus callosum. Okay, corpus callosum, like okay, corpus callosum. Okay, corpus callosum. Okay, there is a corpus callosum here. So this is the corpus callosum. Okay, and then here is the lamina terminalis, and this is the anterior commissure. And commissural fibers, you know about the cortex, that there are fibers that connect each areas of the brain, and that will call commissure. So here there will be the anterior commissure, that is a part of the frontal lobe. So the anterior commissure is here, and the corpus, see, the anterior commissure is here, and the corpus callosum forms the stria terminalis, and it comes here where there is the optic chiasma, and then it forms the infundibulum to give the pituitary gland, and then it comes back, and there is a mammillary body, and the pons and the medulla. So I guess this is how the anatomy goes. This is about the medial side. Okay, so understand the anatomy of that, and then we will go to the fact that hypothalamus is a 3D structure should not be forgotten. So we got to see this in another aspect also. If we take the coronal section, if we cut the head like this and see, you can see that there are thalami here. I mean, this is the cortex. Okay, the cortex is like this. These are the two thalami, and this is the third ventricle. Oh, it looks like a person, and and then there are two hypothalamic areas. Okay, but it is joined in the front. Okay, so okay, I'll show you a picture. That is the easier way. Okay, so where is the picture I drew? Okay, where is it? Okay, yeah, so this is about it. Okay, so okay, if you see that here, it is the thalamus above. Okay, it is a three-dimensional picture. Imagine this. Okay, this is the thalamus. Okay, above it, and below it, see, this is how it goes. Okay, this is the anterior part, and there is a lateral part. Okay, this is the lateral part, and this part is the medial part. There are a lot of nucleus inside it. You have to imagine like that. Okay, and then this is the anterior part, what we are talking about. Anterior part, you can see that the pituitary is here. You can see the optic chiasma will come here, and this is okay. Optic chiasma will come here, and the optic okay, there is another picture, I guess. Okay, yeah, there you go. So that's it. This is how it is. Okay, see, this is the all this hypothalamic, all this hypothalamic nucleus. See this is the area, whole area. Okay, and you should visualize it like a horseshoe shaped thing, and it has got a tail like this that goes at the bottom. So so this is how it is. And so that is about the structure. We can start talking about the functions. Okay, so the functions, so functions, it's easier to think about the functions in a way that in which the nuclei are also involved. So we will again okay, we will have the same thing. Brainstem, pons, midbrain with inferior and superior colliculi. Okay, and then the medial part. This is the medial part. Okay, we are drawing the medial part. You should understand that there is a lateral part. Okay, and when we talk about the nuclei, we will tell. Okay, so this is it. So this much is up to the midbrain, and now the hypothalamus starts. Okay, like it starts with the, this is the mammillary body. Okay, mammillary body. It goes forward, tubercinarium, infundibulum, pituitary. Okay, now where does it go? It goes just above the optic chiasma. Okay, this is like, this front part is like lamina terminalis of the corpus callosum. Okay, corpus callosum. Okay, lamina terminalis of the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is huge. Okay, so lamina terminalis of corpus callosum, anterior commissure here, because there is a cortex here. You can see that there is a cortex here. Okay, hypothalamus, and above the hypothalamus is the thalamus. Okay, this is the whole part of thalamus. Okay, thalamus at the front, and then epithalamus, and from that the cortex starts, and then okay, there you go. So this is your corpus callosum. So what are the things? Most posteriorly mammillary body. Okay, infundibulum, pituitary, anterior commissure, lamina terminalis, and then the top, the upper limit of the hypothalamus is obviously the thalamus. So this area, how do you shade? Let us. So this area is called the hypothalamus. Okay, now we will start dividing. Okay, now we are going to enlarge that area and study it. Okay, so we are enlarging it. I told you this is the medial side. Okay, so I am drawing all this so that it is easier to understand. The exact picture I will show you. Okay, so then in front of the optic you will have the pre-optic area. I will use some other color, I guess. What does it call? Okay, this is the pre-optic area. Okay, this area, pre-optic area. Okay, then comes the, here what was it, this is the chiasma. So this area is called the suprachiasmatic area. Okay, and then this whole area where the tuberous cinereum is, the tuberous cinereum and the pituitary is called the tuberous area. Tuberous I guess. Yeah, it is related to the tuber. Okay, sign tuberous. So this is the area that is called the tuber, because this is there. Okay, and this area, what will it be called? Because there is a mammillary body here, this is called the mammillary area. So what are the bodies? Tell once more. Just in front of the chiasma you have the preoptic area, not the preoptic area. It's a preoptic area before the optic chiasma. That is why it's called the preoptic area. And this is suprachiasmatic, just above the optic chiasma. And this is above the tuberous area. So this is tuberous cinereum. So this is called the tuberous area. This is above the mammillary body. So this is called the mammillary area. So we will assess this like it is. Okay. Now, we can draw it as much as we want, I guess. So midbrain pons, mammillary body goes tuberous cinereum, infundibulum. Okay, and it goes. That is it. Here is the chiasma, optic chiasma. Okay, this is the this is the hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus, and then the thalamus here. Okay, the thalamus is here, the whole thalamus is here. The tuber is very small. Okay, so this is about it. Okay, and the cortex, go deeper. And we talked about the we talked about this area. Okay, so now we have one more thing to tell. We talked about the areas from the medial side. Now we are going to talk from the lateral side. So this area from this downwards, it's called a lateral area. It's pretty simple. Okay, that's why we are going to learn only the medial area and just imagine the lateral area. The lateral area has got only one main nuclei. Okay, it's called the lateral nuclei. Okay, lateral hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, so I guess it's pretty simple. So again, back to the medial part. Okay, we are going to the medial part. Where was our medial part? Yeah, here comes our medial part. We drew it once more. We don't need the cortex and things like that. Now we are going deep into the structures. Okay, so this is how it is. Now we told this. What is this? Pre-optic area. This is suprachiasmatic area. These are all this is not like a specific area or something like that. These are just classifications so that we can have things in our mind, have a general idea about things in our mind. Okay, that is all. But I'll just show you the original picture to make sure that you understand how really it is. Okay, if you want to really see that. See, now I guess you can see what really I'm talking about. Okay, so the point here is, see, brainstem, mammillary body, infundibulum, pituitary stalk, lamina terminalis and the anterior commissure forming the anterior border, upper border thalamus. Okay, so hypothalamus getting directly connected to thalamus, and thalamus, okay, and then thalamus going to epithalamus. From the lateral side it goes to thalamus. Okay, so this area is what we are taking into consideration. Okay, and if you look laterally, you can see that there is a lateral nuclei. There is a lateral nuclei on the lateral side. All the other things happen. Now we have this is how it really looks like. Okay, okay, so I'll talk about this later. So it looks like this, but for easy so for easy understanding, we will just consider the other two-dimensional picture as our main thing. Okay, okay, suprachiasmatic area. Okay, so this is the preoptic area in front, preoptic area. This is the optic chiasma. This is the suprachiasmatic area. This is the tuberal area. This is the mammillary area, just above the mammillary body. Okay, okay, yo, I did that. Okay, so tuberous area, and this area is the mammillary. This area is the mammillary area. Okay, we'll go deep into the structures. So preoptic area. Okay, what are the nuclei here? Now I think you should take paper and start drawing. Okay, so this is the, here there is one nucleus. Okay, just remember these names, we can discuss in detail. Medial preoptic nucleus. Okay, medial preoptic nucleus, very simple, just one nuclei. Nice, because in the preoptic area just one nuclei, medial preoptic nucleus. Good. Okay, now suprachiasmatic area. Okay, suprachiasmatic area, there is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, that is for sure. Okay, that is for sure. Suprachiasmatic nucleus is definitely just above the chiasma, I guess so. It should be. Okay, now we have two nuclei that actually help in the control of the posterior pituitary, because these two nuclei actually rely in the posterior pituitary. So what will it be doing? What are the hormones released by the posterior pituitary? Okay, ADH and oxytocin. Okay, so these two are just above the chiasma, are the two things that supply the posterior pituitary, and these two nuclei are the supraoptic nuclei and the paraventricular nuclei. Okay, so the supraoptic nuclei is the one that ADH. Okay, and this is oxytocin. Okay, so just remember these things. Okay, we'll discuss in detail if you really want to. So these are the nuclei, and see, it's getting connected to this thing, and there is one more nuclei. It is called the anterior hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, So this is called the anterior hypothalamic nuclei. Now there will be a doubt why the anterior hypothalamic nuclei is behind the preoptic nuclei. That we will understand only because only if you see the actual picture we will show. Okay, anyways, this is called the anterior hypothalamic nuclei, and this is associated with parasympathetic function. Parasympathetic function means the whole of the parasympathetic supply can be controlled from this small nucleus. Okay, so this is the anterior hypothalamic nuclei. So it's not the size, it's the power and the strength and the amplification that it can have that is crazy in the hypothalamus. The anterior hypothalamic nuclei supplies the parasympathetics. So this is a very important nuclei. I would draw in red very beautifully. I would like that. Okay, we can come to it later. Okay, so that is about it. We can use different colors, I guess. Okay. Okay. Now we'll come to the, what is this area called? This area is called the, just above the tuberosine area, it's called the tuberosine. That area we have got nuclei. Okay, so this is the main thing, is the arcuate nucleus. Okay, arcuate nucleus is what I will use a different. Arcuate nucleus is what supplies the anterior pituitary. Okay, arcuate nucleus is what supplies the anterior pituitary, and the posterior pituitary is actually controlled by the suprachiasmatic area. So this is very interesting. And now why this has happened is because this whole thing has twisted. Embryologically it has got twisted. So that is why it has got crisscrossing fibers. So that is the reason why this happens. So this is the anterior, this is the arcuate nucleus. I'll write arc, otherwise, okay, arcuate nucleus. It's a very important nucleus in the sense that this arcuate nucleus is what supplies the whole of pituitary hormones. The whole of anterior pituitary hormones, releasing hormones, are supplied by arcuate nucleus. Okay, except one thing, and that is GnRH. Okay, GnRH is actually stimulated by medial preoptic nucleus. So what is medial preoptic nucleus for? Medial preoptic nucleus is usually for helping sexual differentiation, not sexual differentiation, sexual functions. So in fact, it's very interesting to note that this medial preoptic nucleus is very large in males and smaller in females. And the fact is that for people who have got transgender, people who are transgender and have got different sexual preferences, you can see that the people who are attracted to females have got a bigger preoptic nucleus, and the people who are attracted to males have smaller preoptic nucleus. So if a male has got a smaller preoptic nucleus, actually they will be attracted more towards males. So a lot of studies have been conducted, and these are all found. So yeah, very interesting to know that it's an actual thing with an actual anatomy. You can see the size, and this is not it's not something that is you just cannot do anything about it. It's not anything moral. There is no doesn't seem to be a morality in punishing gays and transgenders and things like that. That used to happen at one point of time. But yeah, so it is just that. Okay, it's just an anatomical connection brain thing. So this is there. Understand this. So again, okay, this fell down. Okay, so this is the tuberal area. This is arcuate nucleus, and then you have got This is the medial side, right? So this is called the ventral medial nucleus, and this is called the dorsal medial nucleus. And I would always link the whole thing, this area, with the lateral nucleus of the hypothalamus. So I'm trying to draw a dotted line. Okay, there is this lateral hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, so that is what happens, and it is in this area. So dorsal medial nucleus, ventral medial nucleus, and the arcuate nucleus. Okay, now we will go to the mammillary area, mammillary body. So mammillary area has got, why is there a projection here? There is a projection here because there is a nucleus here. Okay, this nucleus called the mammillary nucleus. Okay, and then there is a huge nucleus called the posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, so what is this mammillary nucleus doing? Mammillary nucleus we will discuss in detail in the limbic system, because it is attached to the limbic system. It responds to emotion, and so that is very close to the limbic system, and this is how we create the whole systems. As in, if you see something, how will you change it into behavior? Like if you see an animal and you had to run, the amygdala, I guess the limbic system will tell, oh, there is something, you go to okay, it will go to the mammillary body, and then it's linked to the parahippocampal gyrus. It runs like this. It's a weird combination. Anyways, mammillary body is, mammillary nucleus is associated with limbic system. We can discuss about that in detail later. So mammillary nucleus is there, and posterior hypothalamic nucleus is about sympathetic system. Okay, so now the point here becomes, is it recording? I am doubtful. So now the problem is posterior hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, the posterior hypothalamic nuclei is sympathetic. Okay, so now we have a sympathetic system here and a parasympathetic system here. Okay, so in fact the whole of the autonomic system is regulated by the hypothalamus, and the anterior system handles the parasympathetic, and the posterior system handles the sympathetic chain. So in fact, if you are fearful, this this posterior hypothalamic nucleus can send sympathetic drive right throughout the whole body and activate the whole sympathetic system. And if you think that everything is okay, the anterior hypothalamic nuclei will send the parasympathetic system so that everything calms down. Okay, so these are the nuclei. So we'll have a recap. Preoptic area. Okay, medial preoptic nucleus. Okay, am I ruining this whole thing? I don't know. So yeah, maybe okay. What just happened? Okay, so we will have this new area. Okay, so this is it. Preoptic area, suprachiasmatic area, tuberous area, and mammillary area. And preoptic area, medial preoptic nucleus supplying GnRH. Okay, suprachiasmatic area, suprachiasmatic nucleus, and you know what the function of the suprachiasmatic nucleus is. It's about the circadian rhythm, time things. Okay, and then there is a thing that the whole area that supplies the posterior pituitary. Okay, so that is the supraoptic nucleus and the paraventricular nucleus. Okay, supraoptic releases ADH, paraventricular releases oxytocin. Okay. Yes. Now the tubular area, there is the main nucleus, that is the arcuate nucleus, and that crosses to the opposite side and reaches the anterior pituitary, releases all the releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone, what all can you think of, all the things. Yeah, so yeah, the whole thing. This is the anterior pituitary, this is the posterior pituitary. Okay, so the arcuate nucleus controls the anterior pituitary. Exception is medial preoptic nucleus that releases GnRH. Okay, anyways, then tuberous area, arcuate nucleus is there. One more, let's go. What are the two things that help in understanding the okay, here there is dorsomedian nucleus and the ventromedian nucleus. Okay, this is dorsal ventral because the height thing. Okay, dorsomedial, ventromedial underneath, and then there is a lateral hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, so essentially this part, this en bloc thing, okay, this en bloc thing, this en bloc thing how it works we can talk in detail. The idea is this: the dorsomedial nucleus actually controls lateral nucleus and the ventromedial nucleus. Okay, you can remember like this: the ventromedial, okay, it is for thinning, okay, and the lateral is wide. It is wide, so it becomes wide. Just remember that. Okay, lateral becomes wide and ventral becomes smaller. So remember, ventromedial nucleus is the nucleus of satiety. You, when after eating a lot of food, you will be like, oh, this is so nice and I am happy, I don't want to eat. So that is the ventromedial nuclei. Okay, now the dorsomedial nuclei, not the dorsomedial nuclei, the lateral nuclei is about, okay, where am I going? The lateral nuclei is about hunger. I don't want to draw it on the other side. Just imagine this is the ventromedial nucleus. This is the, if this is my right side, okay, this is the ventromedial, and this is the whole lateral nucleus. The ventromedial is the area of satiety, and the lateral nucleus, this whole nucleus, is the area of this ventromedial nucleus is the area of satiety, and the lateral area is the area of hunger. Okay, so this is all very much controlled by our emotions and things like that, and it will talk to the arcuate nucleus, and the arcuate nucleus will go and give reverse supply, and it will modulate a lot of things, and that is how we feel hunger and satiety. And then we'll deal about the mammillary body. It deals with memory. It's nice to remember memory. It's actually associated with the whole limbic system, and limbic system is associated with memory. So just try to think of this as the limbic lobe or something. Whatever happens to the limbic lobe, your mammillary body is definitely involved. You cannot run the whole limbic system without the mammillary body, mammillary nucleus. So this is the mammillary nucleus, sorry. Okay, so the mammillary nucleus. So mammillary nucleus is like the limbic this thing. We will talk about the limbic system, and then we will discuss in detail. So the mammillary body, mammillary nucleus is like the limbic part of the hypothalamus, in which emotions are processed, memories are formed, and a lot of things. It is like a intermediate stage between all these things. Okay, so mammillary body is that. Posterior hypothalamic nucleus is the sympathetic nuclei. Okay, now with this in mind, we can talk about the functions of the hypothalamus. Okay, so functions of the hypothalamus. Functions of the hypothalamus. Functions of the hypothalamus, yeah, you can divide into limbic via the mammillary system. Okay, and then autonomic via the sympathetic, and sympathetic is from the posterior hypothalamic nuclei from the back. Okay, in fact, if you think normally, it is good that your posterior hypothalamic nucleus is right near where your emotions are being processed by the mammillary body, so that you can stimulate the sympathetic system exceptionally fast. And the anterior nuclei, here the anterior nuclei supplying the parasympathetic is close to the cortex that inhibits all the things. You can learn to be not afraid. Okay, if you see, so all these things are there. So it's a part of learning. Okay. While talking about the hypothalamus and the limbic system, it's very crazy because it's very difficult to learn. It's very difficult to understand because we are talking about a lot of things which have got a lot of interplays. Hypothalamus is talking to the cortex, and the cortex is as complex as you can think of, and these connections are talking backward and forward to the cortex. Some are inhibiting, some are stimulating, and a lot of calculations are happening, and all these calculations are happening via the limbic system, and then you are getting outputs through the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus is also a part of the limbic system. Okay, this part, this major part. So I understand that it is a little complicated, but just chill and just listen. Okay, so yeah, autonomic nervous system has to be linked to the emotion, so that is why it is in the posterior part. So sympathetic in the posterior hypothalamus, parasympathetic in the anterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, and third is endocrine functions. Okay, endocrine functions, posterior pituitary by the supraoptic nucleus and the paraventricular nucleus. The way I remember is you drink through the mouth, so supraoptic is at the center, paraventricular is a little lateral. So yeah, oxytocin, when you deliver, it is like so okay, I am not telling that, but anyway, during delivery oxytocin has to be released, so it is on the side. That is how I remember. I just told paraventricular is lateral, supraoptic is medial. So medial you can drink straight, but paraventricular actually you have to deliver by so that is it. I don't know, like YouTube is very weird. Anyways, so that is about it. Endocrine. So limbic function, ANS function, endocrine function, and we talked about the posterior pituitary functions, and the anterior pituitary is via the arcuate nucleus, and the medial preoptic nucleus. Medial preoptic nucleus is about sexual function. Arcuate nucleus is about all other releasing hormones. Okay, sex is associated with GnRH. And we told the arcuate nucleus releases all the things: corticotropin releasing hormone, thyroid releasing hormone, all the things. Okay, so anyways, now what growth hormone releasing hormone? Yeah. Anyway, you can just think about all these things, and now. This is the anterior pituitary, and this anterior pituitary is actually stimulated by arcuate nucleus. Okay, and this arcuate nucleus has got connections to and fro from the dorsal medial nucleus. Okay, there are lots and lots of connections, but I am just telling you the basic things. Okay, arcuate nucleus is controlled by these two things: the lateral hypothalamic nuclei creating hunger, wide eating and getting wide. Okay, lateral, and then the ventromedial ventromedial nucleus. Okay, the ventromedial nucleus which produces satiety, and that will also have crosstalk with each other. It will talk here, this will inhibit this will talk here, this will inhibit this. There's a fight between all these things, satiety and hunger. Whether you are hungry or not, there's a lot of fight, and in the end there will be an output, and you will eat or not eat. Okay, so that is it. And the dorsomedial nucleus actually modulates these two. Okay, dorsomedial nucleus modulates these two. So in fact, if the dorsal medial nucleus is gone, what happens is, when you feel hungry, there is nothing to modulate it. So you will start eating anything. In fact, you can start biting people also. Okay, I don't know, I just made that up, but still, so that is the idea. So look once more, the dorsomedial nucleus tries to modulate these two. Okay, there is crosstalk between ARC, and it comes like this. So these are the functions of the endocrine system. Okay, so limbic system is associated with hunger, satiety, memory, okay, all these things, and it is also controlled, modulated by arcuate nucleus also. Okay, so again, after limbic functions, after autonomic nervous functions, and after endocrine functions, the fourth is the role in temperature regulation. Okay, that is usually told. Role of temperature regulation is actually technically these two nuclei only, posterior hypothalamic nuclei and the anterior hypothalamic nuclei. So you can make a general guess. Okay, posterior hypothalamic nuclei is there to actually increase the temperature. Okay, and anterior hypothalamic nuclei decreases the temperature. Basically, this is a weird thing. All this has been studied by stimulating brain areas and trying to understand what is happening. So most of the times we don't know what we are stimulating. We might be stimulating nerve bundles, or maybe close by nuclei. So these are all very contentious. Anyways, the posterior hypothalamus, when we actually activate, there is increase in temperature because it is sympathetic. The whole activity is there. It's activated. This is associated with sympathetic activity. So maybe we need to increase whole activity and all things like that. So this will increase the temperature. How does it increase temperature? Increases sympathetic tone, thereby increasing temperature, and there is associated vasodilatation and sweating also. And anterior nucleus of hypothalamus tries to decrease the temperature. When the temperature is high, it tries to decrease the temperature, and it decreases the temperature by actually vasodilatation and sweating. Okay, so anterior hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, what am I writing here? Anterior hypothalamic nuclei and posterior hypothalamic nuclei are doing in the role of temperature regulation. So these are the functions of the hypothalamus. I hope you understand. It's really crazy talking alone to a tab. Hope to see you all soon. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to show you what the actual picture is. So yeah, I hope you might have a different understanding. Okay, so this is the actual kind of picture. So you can see this. Okay. So this is how it is. Here is probably where the differentiation is. Now it's a very weird thing to happen, I guess. So there is a cut here. That is what we call the medial preoptic nucleus. That is not marked here. Okay, and here comes the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is the anterior part. Suprachiasmatic nucleus, anterior hypothalamic nucleus, supraoptic nucleus, and the paraventricular nucleus. Okay, This is a little lateral, that is why it is there. It is slightly higher, but the cut is and the anterior hypothalamus, the cut is here. Okay, so when you see the cut here, I guess you need to increase the size. Why do I cut like this? Okay, this is the area. Okay, look, this is the optic nerve. Okay, this is the optic chiasma somewhere here. Okay, so this will become the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and in front of the optic chiasma there is the medial preoptic nucleus. Okay, I'll just draw it, medial preoptic nucleus. Okay, and this is the anterior part. No, this is the actual preoptic area. Okay, this is the actually suprachiasmatic area, like suprachiasmatic nucleus, preoptic nucleus, paraventricular nucleus, anterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, I just drew it in such a way that it is easier for you to understand. These two are actually linked together, supplying the posterior pituitary. Okay, and then here comes this is the tuber cinereum, pituitary, infundibulum, and things like that. So this area is called this area cut here is called this is the arcuate nucleus, ventromedial nucleus, and now we have the dorsal. We need to have the dorsomedial nucleus, ventral and dorsal. See, dorsal is higher above, ventral is below. Okay, and that is about it. And then we have, and it is also linked with the lateral hypothalamic area. We told that. Okay, lateral hypothalamic area, and this is the posterior part. This is the mammillary body. Just above the mammillary body there is the mammillary nucleus, posterior hypothalamic area. This is the sympathetic thing. Okay, so these are the things. I will just try to do some really weird markings as a repeat thing. Learn this and go. Okay, medial preoptic nucleus, GNRH. Okay, okay, let's do the supraoptic nucleus, TEL, ADH. Okay, then supraoptic nucleus, what are we talking about? We are talking suprachiasmatic nucleus. Okay, okay, so this is the medial preoptic nucleus releasing in GNRH. Okay, this is the preoptic area. And now when we start the suprachiasmatic area, suprachiasmatic nucleus, time. Okay, this needs to be small, I guess. Should I make it a little bigger? Suprachiasmatic, this is about suprachiasmatic nucleus. Suprachiasmatic nucleus is about okay, what is happening? Suprachiasmatic nucleus is about okay, suprachiasmatic nucleus is about time. So, what is this? Circadian rhythm. Okay, circadian rhythm. Okay, and yeah, should I write it? Do you require it? I guess you can learn it from the other picture. Okay, so that is about it. I think I would suggest a homework. The homework is just draw this in a hole and we can see what will happen. Draw this whole thing. Okay, so brainstem, medulla, pons, superior colliculus, inferior colliculus, superior colliculus, that is the midbrain area. This is the midbrain area, and from the midbrain it starts the hypothalamus, the mammillary body. It comes like this: tuber cinereum, infundibulum, pituitary, and then it goes forward. Here there is the optic chiasma. Okay, and in front of it, this is the preoptic area. Okay, and then it is closed at the top by the thalamus like this, and posteriorly here there is a subthalamic nucleus also. We are not very much concerned. Anyways, posteriorly, okay, so that is about it. Mammillary body and things like that. Thalamus, and then there is a corpus callosum here, okay, and the cortex is above this. Okay, so this is technically the hypothalamus. And then medial preoptic nucleus, suprachiasmatic area is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, supraoptic nucleus, paraventricular nucleus, and the anterior hypothalamic nucleus. Anterior hypothalamic, sympathetic, these two controlling posterior pituitary, suprachiasmatic circadian rhythm. Okay, now we come to the just above the tuberous cinereum, the tuberous area. We are talking about a main thing, arcuate nucleus, which controls the whole of anterior pituitary. Okay, pituitary. Okay, medial preoptic nucleus, anterior pituitary, GnRH. Okay, now we have dorsomedial nucleus, ventromedial nucleus, and something the other side, which is lateral nucleus. Lateral nucleus is a huge nucleus. I am just drawing because it's functionally present here. Okay, and then the lateral nucleus is for hunger, ventral medius is for satiety. Okay, now dorsal medial nucleus controls or modulates these two so that nothing is overreactive. If you should not feel so much hunger as to eat something, eat a rat or something like that. Okay, so that is it. So if the dorsal, that is the dorsal medial nucleus. And then there comes the mammillary body, and inside the mammillary body is the mammillary nucleus. It is the limbic nucleus associated with the memory, and limbic nucleus associated with memory and a lot of stuff. Okay, we will talk about this in detail, mammillary body. And then the posterior hypothalamic nucleus, which is the sympathetic. Okay, so in fact it is so weird, so strong that the anterior hypothalamic nucleus will come like this, and it will start supplying the craniosacral outflow from the cranial, the facial nerve. All these things are supplied by are actually affected by the anterior hypothalamic nuclei. It even goes down below to the sacral area and gives the sacral supply also. So understand the scale of this thing. Okay, and then from the posterior hypothalamic nuclei comes the parasympathetic supply. No, posterior hypothalamic is sympathetic. For posterior hypothalamic comes the sympathetic supply. Okay, sympathetic supply comes and supplies the thoraco-lumbar outflow. So this is how the whole autonomic system is helped by the hypothalamus. And I guess this is about it. I mean, I guess this is very bad. I will try to create a very neat diagram. I hope to do that and give it to you. Thank you.